There's been a trend around BookTube, Book Talk, and Bookstagram on how popular modern series have a lackluster villain and cartoonishly evil antagonists. The bullies are unexplainably homicidal, while primary villains are somehow incompetent with a tragic backstory. I think the attempt is to make the villain sympathetic, but if the protagonist is shown first to have a difficult past, it doesn't exactly work and comes off as a last minute idea. With the shift away from pure evil archetypes to sympathetic villains, I think there's a misunderstanding of what that is. Same way that a hot character lavishing the main character with gifts is shorthand for romance, tragic past has become the shorthand for sympathetic evil. I'm not the first, let alone only, one to notice this, and it's bothered me. Unable to find helpful writing advice on the matter, I've stewed on it. Why are so many modern villains bad at being villains? I think it comes down to two things, and I'm probably wrong, but hey. People are afraid to write evil, and people are afraid to give villains redeeming qualities. Being sad is not a redeeming quality. Now, I'm someone who knows a little too much about the atrocities committed by ordinary people during World War II. Never mind what Nazi, Soviet, or Japanese soldiers did, or the circumstances that bred the psychology of justifying evil. So I can't really fault writers for being too uncomfortable to write evil rather than evil presenting. It's kind of traumatizing. By the way, I'm probably in need of therapy and too broke and lazy to get it. Send help. I'm only partially joking about writers giving their villains redeeming qualities in the present. I do genuinely think many writers are either afraid to do it or that they don't know how, and substitute it with a sordid past. Let's take, for example, a member of the drug cartel. We can agree that his career choice is not for the good of others and causes a great deal of violence and harm. Now, what if we learn he gives half of every payment to an orphanage in the hopes that the kids will have access to education, sports, and the arts, and have a life away from crime? What if he's working to dismantle dogfighting rings, getting the dogs rehabilitated and placed with forever families? Both of these are, without argument, attempts at doing good for the sake of others. But that doesn't negate that this character is a violent one, willing to commit violence seemingly without guilt. He's willing to push addictive substances that cause physical, mental, and emotional harm onto others. He is a villain with redeeming qualities, a sympathetic villain. And this is not to say that only a primary villain needs a redeeming quality. If you're writing a series, odds are there'll be multiple villains. Not every sympathetic side needs to be revealed while they're on the page in that case. Rather, the echoes can be presented in later books after their death. Let's say the villain is an arms smuggler and human trafficker. He flees his country to annoy the authorities and have a vacation, leisurely plotting his next move. Now, what if this character hears the plight of those in the province about the neglect and unjust treatment of the empire, and he decides to assist because of the benefits it could provide him? Using his skill and connections, he arms the people in the province to build a rebel militia and smuggles volunteers behind enemy lines with the plan of distraction, drawing away reinforcements from the border, giving the main assault a fighting chance at liberation. Our protagonists know none of this and turn our villain into a past tense 30% of the way through book 1. This is felt in later books where 30% of the way through book 1. This is felt in later books where our protagonists slowly learn of events like the failed rebellion and the Empire's harsh response to it. And I'm not just putting this scenario here to promote my books and lyrical series, link below. The point is that this villain is a villain, but we can sympathize with a character fighting against an oppressive government. Yes, he has an interest in liberation for his own nefarious gains, but that doesn't mean others won't benefit from newfound liberty separate from him. It doesn't absolve the character of evil, but it provides complexity and a likable quality. He's not evil for evil's sake, nor does he rely on some previous tragedy to garner sympathy from the reader. Readers like callbacks. They enjoy seeing consequences, even if the character's intent was for good to happen. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Granted, Newton's third law of motion refers to physics, but we can apply it to storycraft. A tyrannical monarch is overthrown. Cool. Who replaces them? What is their plan for any legislature coming in? Will they veto existing proposals? Overturn laws? What cultural effect does that have? Yes, this is a Hunger Games reference. Anyway, I'm tired. You're pretty smart, so you get the idea. Comment your thoughts.